It's your boy Nick Clark here with another Breaking Bad Boxing preview and prediction. My boy Aligos, day one supporter, did ask me to get this one out a little bit early. So we have Lester Martinez versus Christian Mabilly. 168-pound clash going down here. 29-0, 24 knockouts. Christian Mabilly fighting, he is technically French. He was born in Cameroon, and he's fighting out of Canada as of right now, versus Lester Martinez, the Guatemalan. 19 wins, 16 of those coming by way of knockout, 0 losses on his end. Orthodox versus Orthodox fighter. They also have a common opponent too as well in the Ecuadorian and Gongoria. So we have a very intriguing matchup, and I just want to say this is one of the funner fights that I have broken down on tape. And I just want to say outright right now, this is one of the harder fights to quote-unquote cap, as the people would say, and to find a winner for. So all we can do, y'all, is jump into the tape. So let's do that. Let's jump right into the tape, y'all. So we have Lester Martinez in 4 fights ago versus Lucas de Abreu here. This fight was contested at 165 to 166 pounds, so a slight catch weight there too as well. So, or maybe just Lester came into a little bit undersized in this case. Anyways, let's get into the tape, y'all. Versus de Abreu, Lester Martinez, really strong jab, good upper body movement. Walking and stalking with not great footwork, but definitely walking him down. He punches with you, but he had a little bit of catch and shoot to his game. Y'all know how much I love a little catch and shoot. His inside uppercuts are absolutely relentless. Check hooks are damaging. His mid-range hooks, disgusting. Super nasty, super damaging. He himself is hittable from the mid-range, but he does have a strong guard, and he has a variation of a Philly shell and a shoulder roll that he likes to mix into his defense as well. There was some same side punching in this fight, which I love same side punching, a la my boy Finito Lopez. He had a right uppercut. He had a right hook to the body, followed up by a right uppercut with 0 reload and 0 fat in the last 10 seconds of round 2, if you have a chance to go rewatch this fight. And then in round 3 and round 5, he did the same thing with the left side, but varying uppercuts and left hooks. Really beautiful, man. Uses his kinetic chain extremely well. Doesn't load up on a lot of his shots when he's swinging left to right, right to left, so on and so forth. Especially when he loads up on the same side. His same side punching is crisp, 0 fat. He's a bully. He has decent ring control, and he can cover range well, but his jab, man, his jab is like a sledgehammer. It bounces folks' head back from the word go. He has minimal body punching, but his body punching is extremely effective. So when he is selective with his body punch, you could tell it's super damaging and it stays on the mark. He's not overly high in volume and how much he throws. He definitely has lulls where he doesn't throw enough for my liking, but he's very efficient with what he does throw, and that's something that's important to note. He got Angolia out of there in the 4th round too as well for this fight. I'm sorry, de Abreu, my apologies. The next fight we're going to cover is Ruben Anguilla. His jab variation in this fight was absolutely incredible. Head to body, body to head, great variation. Again, minimal body punching, but extremely effective. He had a great left to the body in a minute and 45 seconds of the 1st round that you can tell definitely bothered Anguilla. And his right hand to the body at a minute and 15 seconds of the 1st round was just absolutely stunning. You could just feel it ripple through his body. His dip and counter off of this body shot had a little bit of sauce to it too as well. Here are his big defensive flaws that I have found out, at least specifically in this Anguilla fight, as well as I saw in the de Abreu fight. When he shells up, he doesn't dip his elbows, and he keeps his torso upright, leaving his body susceptible to punches. When he fights in his Philly shell shoulder roll, he relies a little bit too much on that Philly shell shoulder roll catch and shoot style, and it leaves him susceptible to punches in the head. And I know this is simple mechanics of how they fight, but he does get hit quite a bit. Maybe a little bit too much for my liking, but he's a tough Guatemalan, man. Really tough Guatemalan. I've yet to see him hurt or stunned. At least truly hurt or stunned. We'll go over the Gongoria fight a little bit. He has power in his right hand, his uppercuts. Both of his hooks have extreme power in them. Sledgehammer jab. His same side body punching was incredible here. At a minute and 50 seconds here, he catches a double left hook to the body, followed by a straight right. And I felt like this is kind of the moment that we saw the wheel set and turn, where we saw not de Abreu, I'm sorry, what's this fighter's name? Anguilla start to go. He had a mean-ass 1-2-3. Very simple first-day combination that you learn in the gym. And he finishes off this fight with one of the meanest 1-2-3s you're going to see. I recommend going and watching this fight. It's quick, it's short, sweet, to the point, and it's a beautiful display of violence, to say the least. Gongoria versus Lester. This is southpaw versus orthodox. So I know it's not going to mean the same when it comes to Christian Mabilly, where it's an orthodox versus orthodox fighter. Yes, I understand this, but it's important to note and tape a common opponent between both. And there's always something you could take away in the tape between both too as well. Lester, not really a back foot fighter, especially we saw here against Gongoria. Really sturdy base, great balance. I thought his base and his balance was incredible in this fight. Minus rounds 8 and 9. He lands an overhand right and covers so much ground with that overhand right on both orthodox and southpaw fighters. His overhand right is not only strong and not only effective, but it covers a lot of ground. He essentially gives himself extra reach with his overhand right. He was consistently getting hit with an uppercut early and often in this fight, which against Mabilly, we're going to see one of his better punches. Lester drops his guard when he is exchanging in these firefights, and that can be an issue against Mabilly. But again, we're going to see the issue, say, with Mabilly on the other end. It's so funny how similar these guys are. He has a decent jab, especially when he's getting his head off the line. He can hold his feet a little bit. He's a heavy body puncher, but again, he doesn't go to the body and doesn't go to the well as much as you'd like to see. His overhand right is so powerful, man. With 40 seconds left in the third round, he rocked the hell out of Gongoria in this fight, man. His stop and start is incredible. I think that's a little bit due to his lack of footwork, but he can stop on a dime and punch with you. He capitalized on Gongoria's mistakes in this fight. When Gongoria was exiting with his chin too high, he was making sure to crack that chin. When he was flaring his elbows out, he was making sure to rock the body. Again, super efficient body puncher. Just doesn't punch enough. In round 4, he had an amazing double jab, 2 to 3 hook. He had a double jab, 2 to 2, and then he followed up with hooks, right, left, right. His kinetic chain punching, man, it's beautiful. And it was pinging Gongoria's head back incredibly well. Beautiful 6-punch combination. He flows with his combination. He chambers his hips and he flows and follows through with them. But the one thing about him is he's not overly high in volume and he doesn't throw as much combinations as you like. Very efficient power puncher, man. But, man, I would really like to see him throw more. Gongoria did not punch to the body damn near whatsoever in this fight. He was really inept to the body. In rounds 8 through 9, I definitely thought that Lester was losing his base in moments of overswinging and retracting with the shoulders over his hips. He had to shake out his arms and his hips and reset multiple times around 8 and 9. And that could have been trying to get Gongoria out there so many times. But he did have 10 rounds of fighting in him, and he fought for 10 rounds with a lot of, throwing hard and throwing strong to the final round. So his Deshaun James fight, Deshaun James. He rocked Deshaun James with a round 1 jab in 1 minute and 30 seconds in. I've noticed that Lester Martinez is a slow starter, especially in the first round. All of his fights that I taped, he seemed to start a little bit too slow. Not for my liking, it just means he's downloading data. So I don't think he starts slow in the sense that he can't get going, but I think he downloads data. He allowed James to control the ring, especially early and often in this fight. He doesn't set up all of his punches, but he sets up his overhand right beautifully, man. His overhand right, like I said, covers so much distance, but it's also set up incredibly well. You would like to see him set up more of his punches in this manner. He sets it up with 2s, or he sets it up with 1s and 1s to the body, small shovel hooks to the body. Just the way he sets up his overhand is incredible. My favorite combination of this fight here, he had a jab to the body, and he hit an overhand right to James. And while James was retracting, he hit him with a succession jab, 1 to the head, 1 to the body. And then he rips him with a left hook, all on the same side. Jab to the head, jab to the body, left hook, all the same side. Perfect 5-for-5 combination. It was absolutely beautiful. He punches at different levels. Saw a little dip to his chip, dipping to his knees, bending when he was punching. Really love that. And again, we see the variation with the mix of the Philly shell shoulder roll and the high guard. Man, James was boxing really well here, but James just didn't have the pop to keep Lester off of him. And we saw that. Lester held his feet against the ropes, and we saw James kind of tee off onto the body in this moments. Fight over fight improvements that we saw specifically with Lester was his head movement. Again, dipping levels and better knee bending too as well. So what do I like about Lester Martinez, and what would I like to see him improve on? Not that I'm a boxing coach, simply a boxing fan, that this is what I see with my eyes. Sledgehammer jab, super powerful. All of his punches are super powerful and super threatening. I think he's a bigger puncher than Mabilly is by a country mile. He has a great overhand right. He's physical as hell. This is the battle of the wide backs. We're going to see the battle of the backs here. Pause. Super efficient body puncher. Offensively, I love his inside work, and I love his same side punching. Has him start and stop to him. Stop on a dime. He's incredible at covering ground with his right hand. What I'd like to see him improve on, I'd like to see him improve his feet. I like to see him improve his volume because his volume is definitely lacking. He holds his back against the ropes at times, which I think will be interesting for the Mabilly fight as well. His jab is good, but he doesn't fight at a long range. He's almost inept at fighting at long range. His jab is so good that he can definitely work on a long range fight. And I think he trusts his durability just a little bit too much to where he can allow himself to drop his guard hands in the midst of these firefights. Now let's talk about his opponent, Lester Mabilly. We went back to his Murdoch fight, which was a 4th round stoppage, and I'm surprised that I had so many notes on this 4th round stoppage. Lester Mabilly fights with almost like a modified peekaboo, a lot of feints, very janky style, stiff with his jab, both to the head and to the body, and he walks his way on the inside. Not great footwork, but he walks his way on the inside. Very similar to his opponent, Lester Martinez. Murdoch was jabbing him up early, man. Really good jab, punching through his guard. Murdoch was also ripping up body shots to Mabilly on the inside as well, while Mabilly was returning with body shots on the inside. Mabilly definitely overcommitted in this fight against Murdoch. I don't know if he was trying to get him out of there too early or if he just felt a little bit too overconfident. He plays a lot of yo-yo. You go, I go, you go, I go. He doesn't punch in odds at evens, so he won't punch first and third. He doesn't punch second and fourth. He goes yo-yo. You go, I go. Super hittable from the mid-range, especially from the straight right. He fights emotionally at times, too, as well. You saw Murdoch egging him on just by sticking his tongue out. His corkscrew overhand right was absolutely incredible. His step-off right uppercut with 10 seconds left in the second round was beautiful, man. Just incredible step-off. And he loaded up that same step-off with a right hand in the last second of that same round. So instead of throwing the uppercut, he threw the overhand right. He flares his elbows on the inside, which is definitely going to leave him susceptible to being hit to the body. And he has a body susceptibility regardless, as we saw here against Murdoch. He loves to fight square on the inside. He gets his body and his shape and his back completely square offensively and defense when he gets inside. Step off right that knocked Murdoch's mouthpiece out and set the motions of the fight being stopped going, man, was absolutely incredible. He stepped off and hit him with a piston-like right. His dip 1-2 landed multiple times in this fight. In round 5 in the first 10 seconds, his dip 1-2 was scary almost. I would like to see him punch with more of that variation. He has great killer instincts too as well. And I feel like you're going to see this with the tape. You're going to hear me mention it a few times. He's willing to drown. He's willing to swim with you and see who's going to drown first. It's a mentality we see in MMA a lot, but not a mentality we see a lot in boxing. Guys like Pedro Guevara is really good at this drowning you mentality. And I think it's in boxing. And I think Christian Mabilly is great at drowning you and pulling you into the fire like that. The Heffron fight, there really wasn't much to take away. He walked in with body jabs, got inside, and just ripped up shots to the body. 3 liver shots to the body, dropped him early and often, shows that his body punch is just absolutely devastating. Now, the fight we got to learn a lot about Mabilly from, Sergey Derevyanchenko. Guys, Sergey Derevyanchenko is one of the best fighters to never win a world title or be a known commodity. He has only lost to the best, Triple G, Charlo, Christian Mabilly in this case. He's never been stopped before. Yeah, Sergey Derevyanchenko, yes, he's getting older. Yes, he's aging, but he's really like that. So don't let the record of the 4 losses fool you whatsoever. As we know, Mabilly, not great feet, but he closes the distance. Very zombie-like in the way he walks you forward, walks you down. He also has crazy eyes. And the stare off of all of his fights, he has those crazy eyes that kind of get you kind of off ease and off edge. Derevyanchenko switched stances in this fight, fought both orthodox and southpaw, which I found really interesting too as well, which showed variation for Mabilly and Derevyanchenko. He was landing on Derevyanchenko early and often with that overhand right, which he was also covering ground with, but he also missed early and often on Derevyanchenko where he was losing his base and his balance. He was forced to use his jab just because of how much Derevyanchenko was moving on the back foot. Derevyanchenko wasn't looking to exchange in a firefight. He fought this fight very smart, and it forced Mabilly to jab both to the body, and he jabbed every single round early and often, both to the head and to the body, showing variation. Dervy was landing overhand right and check hooks early often, which can show a little bit of susceptibility for Mabilly. Mabilly found his range really early, corkscrew overhand rights, inside pocket boxing, and he had a right hand that rocked Derevyanchenko in the first round too as well. The footwork was definitely giving Mabilly fits early, but he stuck behind his jab and he stuck behind walking forward, especially early. Once he got nose-to-nose with Derevyanchenko, he was letting off shots, cutting off on angles, and ripping his body up to the ropes. The right hand saved Mabilly a lot of issues. The right hand was giving Mabilly a lot of issues from Derevyanchenko, especially in the fourth round. Derevyanchenko could not miss with this right hand, was getting off on him. Mabilly had a real lull in between rounds 3 and 4 for me, to where almost like he gassed himself out in rounds 1 and 2. But rounds 5, he started walking forward, those body combinations and that pressure. And he kind of just kept it turned on for the rest of the fight, which was really impressive to see, because even though he was breathing with his mouth open, he never really seemed to be overly gassed out. He was pushing himself to the brink, which I love to see. Sergey got caught him overcommitting in round 7. But man, he's a psycho. After he was getting blasted up for the first minute by Sergey, he smiled at him and just ripped him up for the next minute and a half of round 7. He stayed on Sergey's body for round 7, trying to get him out of there, just absolutely working and punishing this body. And I'm going to be honest, I think if this was a 12-round fight, had 2 more rounds to go, I think he would have gotten Sergey out of there. He was landing punishing body shots in round 9. And in round 10, man, he was hellacious, just staying on him like a fly on fucking shit, man. He did not get off of him whatsoever. Mabilly versus Selecki. I did think we actually saw a little bit of fight over fight improvement here. He kept his composure and his cool and calmness in the first round. Now, there was rumors that Selecki was injured going into this fight, and we all know he was overmatched anyways, but he was cool. He was calm. He was composed, jabbing to the body, walking him forward, show a little bit more foot progression, taking the outside foot. At 146 in the first round, he had a dip to an overhand right, so we kind of started seeing the wheel set in motion for the finish here. He instantly got into the body on the inside after that dip to overhand right. And like I said, I love how cool and calm he came out comparatively to Derevyanchenko and even the Murdoch fight, for example, where he came out like a bat out of hell. So the finishing sequence here was the straight right hand to the body with a sick left hook to the liver. He frames him with his elbow and lands an uppercut, a slight rip-off uppercut. Man, it was absolutely sick. It was devastating. Selecki was out of there. Yes, guys, I broke down the Gongoria fight, even though it goes against my 4-fight rule too as well. Gongoria was catching this man Mabilly with uppercuts when he had his back against the ropes. Against the distance, even though it was Southpaw versus Orthodox, which is going to be a little bit different, I know, versus Lester versus Mabilly, which is Orthodox versus Orthodox, there was definitely some distance checking that Gongoria was having success with. Gongoria got caught really bad in the 8th round with an uppercut that took his legs. And I'm quite surprised this fight didn't get finished in the 8th and 9th round, because Mabilly really put on a hellacious ass whooping here. They both had great composure. Mabilly held his feet a little bit too much when engaging in this fight, but man, he just knows when to go. In the last minute of the rounds, Mabilly loves to turn it on, and he knows, I need to put something on the stamp for these judges, and he's great at that. He held his shape all 10 rounds versus Gongoria, I think a little bit better than he did against Derevyanchenko, where he had lulls where I thought he was going to possibly gas out. I thought the corner could have thrown in the towel for either fight, the Lester Gongoria fight or the Mabilly Gongoria fight. I want to say this. I think Lester systematically broke down Gongoria better than we saw Mabilly breaking down. But Mabilly put an hellacious pace and ass whooping on him that I think took a bit of Gongoria's life out of him. I think Gongoria was going in a little bit more damaged good against Lester, and that's not taken away from Lester's performance. That's simply just what I saw. What do I like about Mabilly, and what would I like to see him improve on? Mabilly's a bully, man. Mabilly the bully. Holy shit. His pressure, his pace, mentally tries to break you. His body combinations are hellacious and damaging. He forces you to fight his fight always. He's always on the front foot. He doesn't allow you to control the ring. He controls the ring. He is the bull. Maybe one day someone will be the matador. He has punishing jabs to the body. He throws in levels with those punishing jabs to the body and also the face. He has snap to his jab too as well, which I think is an underrated part of his game. He puts out so much volume, so much pace, so much pressure, forces you to fight his fight. And he has a beautiful uppercut and a beautiful overhand right. What would I like to see him improve on? He has one gear and one gear only, and that's go, go, go. Maybe we see him improve on it like we did against Selecki. Susceptibility to uppercuts. He doesn't have great footwork. He doesn't have great variation offensively or defensively. He comes forward offensively. We really haven't seen him been forced to fight backwards. Defensively, he really only fights behind a shell and a little bit of a dip and counter. And he often swings and misses. So his balance and his shape aren't always great because he swings and misses. To the toughest prediction I've ever had to do on this channel, guys. To the toughest prediction I've ever had to do on this channel. In a 10-round fight, they're so similar, right? Both guys throw great overhand rights. Both guys have damaging body shots. The difference is Lester is far more efficient and less volume as compared to Mabilly, just forces you to drown and pushes you pace and pressure. They both trust their chin so much and aren't necessarily defensively void, but aren't great defensively. They're not defensive maestros. You have Mabilly that's going to walk you down and get you on the inside, and you have Lester, who I think can fight a little bit more at range and also can fight great on the inside. I think Lester is the better boxer, better arsenal, better variation, better at fighting at different ranges. But I think Mabilly is so good at forcing people to fight his fight that he's a problem for anybody at the 168 division. In a 10-round fight, which BoxRec has this listed, I favor this fight a draw. I favor this fight a draw, y'all. I can see Christian Mabilly getting dropped, but winning 6 of those 4 rounds, even with the drop. I can see this fight being 5-5 apiece due to Mabilly's willingness to drown him. But I want to caveat this. If this is a 12-round fight, which there are Twitter and rumor woodworks, in a 12-round fight, I think Mabilly is such a strong 12-round fighter that I can see Mabilly getting the 7-5 decision on this fight. And if there is a knockdown, maybe he gets a later knockdown himself. In a 12-round fight, man, I think Mabilly is truly a 12-round fighter where I think he's made to fight 12 rounds, where I haven't necessarily seen it from Lester Martinez. And the way Mabilly stays on the inside and stays on that body, it's personally hard for me to see him keeping Lester Martinez off him for all, or Lester keeping Mabilly off him for all 12 rounds. So in a 10-round fight, I like a draw. But in a 12-round fight, y'all, give me Mabilly to eke it out via decision. I don't think either fighter gets stopped here. I love this fight. This is one of the best fights I've had to break down in terms of tape. If you guys can, please subscribe, please like, please share, please comment. If I've ever made you some money, I drop my Cash App below. Don't feel pressure, just letting you guys know. With that being said, y'all, love, peace, chicken grease. See you guys on the other side.